All right, let's dive into a really powerful idea from Nassim Taleb's book, Antifragile. And I mean it. This is one of those concepts that can totally change how you look at the world, at uncertainty, and frankly, at your own life.
This one sentence, it's pretty much the key to the whole thing. Think about it. Some things get absolutely destroyed by stress and randomness, like a candle getting snuffed out by the wind. But other things, they don't just survive it, they feed on it. They actually get stronger, like a fire that roars to life with that exact same wind. And that right there is the question Taleb wants us all to ask ourselves. Because the shocks and surprises in life, they're coming. That's a guarantee. So when they hit, are you going to break or are you going to burn brighter?
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start by looking at the wild, unpredictable world we're all living in. Then we'll define this amazing idea of the antifragile. We'll see how our modern life often gets this completely backwards, explore some real-world examples, get into the ethics of it all, and finally, figure out how we can learn to be the fire. So let's kick things off with a pretty tough truth. We are awful, truly awful at predicting the future. Our world doesn't move in a nice, neat, straight line. Nope, it's shaped and defined by these huge, unexpected bombshells that just change everything overnight. Taleb has a famous name for these events, black swans. We're talking about things like the explosion of the internet, the 2008 financial meltdown, or a global pandemic. They feel like they come out of nowhere, they have this massive impact, and yet, after the fact, we all spin these neat little stories that make them seem like they were obvious all along. And that's the real trap, isn't it? It's a flaw in our own psychology. We are wired to crave order, so our brain is constantly taking the messy, chaotic, random past and tidying it up into a clean, cause-and-effect narrative. This illusion that we can predict things, well, it just makes us fragile, because we're totally unprepared for how the world actually works.
So, if trying to predict the future is a waste of time, what's the alternative? This is where Taleb's big idea comes in. We all know what fragile means, but what is its exact opposite? Now, most people would say robust or resilient, but that's not quite it.
Check this out. This is the central idea. The fragile, like a glass vase, just shatters when it gets hit with stress. It hates chaos. The robust, maybe like a steel beam, resists that stress. It gets hit and it just stays the same. But the anti-fragile, it gets better. It actually uses that chaotic energy to grow stronger and improve. It's not about just surviving disorder, it's about thriving on it.
So if being anti-fragile is so powerful, and you can see it in all kinds of living systems, why does our modern world seem so, breakable? Taleb's argument is pretty stark. It's because we're actively working against it.
This is such a crucial point. Our whole modern system is obsessed with trying to get rid of every little stressor, every bump in the road. We want perfectly stable markets, perfectly safe playgrounds, perfectly predictable outcomes. But by doing that, we're robbing our systems of the very stressors they need to stay tough. It's like if you stayed in bed for a month to avoid injury, your muscles would just waste away. We're creating fragility with our obsession for control. And this really shows the two different ways of looking at the world. On one side, you've got this fragile, top-down approach. Taleb brilliantly calls it the Soviet Harvard delusion, where so-called experts in suits think they can predict and control everything from on high. But on the other side, you have the anti-fragile, bottom-up world of tinkering, of trial and error, of evolution, a world that learns and grows from its mistakes.
Okay, so what does this actually look like in real life? Because this isn't just some abstract philosophical idea. Once you start looking for it, you see anti-fragility everywhere.
I mean, just think about it. Your muscles literally only get stronger after they've been stressed and slightly torn during a workout. The entire process of evolution thrives on random genetic mistakes that lead to new advantages. The whole economy grows, not because every single business is a success, but because the failures of some teach valuable lessons for everyone else. All of these systems don't just put up with randomness, they absolutely require it to get better.
But this idea isn't just some life hack for personal growth. Taleb argues there's a deep, profound moral dimension to all of this, and it all comes down to one question. Who is actually taking the risk?
And here's the dark side. Our super complex world has created this class of people, these inverse heroes, as he calls them. Think of certain bureaucrats or bankers who can make huge, risky calls. If they're right, they get massive bonuses. But if they're wrong, well, they transfer all those catastrophic consequences onto the rest of us. They get all of the upside from a risky world, and we're left with all the downside. They are anti-fragile, but at our expense.
And this is Caleb's golden rule. It's a direct shot at that very problem. It's saying that you can't build your own strength on somebody else's weakness. It demands that people have skin in the game. It's a powerful idea. It means you have to be exposed to the consequences, both good and bad, of your own decisions.
So, let's tie this all together. How do we actually use this? How do we stop being the candle that gets blown out and start becoming the fire that rages?
The biggest takeaway here is really a shift in your whole mindset. Just stop trying to predict the next black swan. It's impossible. Instead, focus all your energy on building a life, building systems that have a limited downside but a huge potential upside. Whether that's in your career, your investments, your health, create setups that actually benefit from surprises. Build a system that can look at a mistake and genuinely say, hey, thanks for that.
When you get right down to it, uncertainty is the only thing that's certain. The winds of chaos, of randomness, of change, they're always going to blow. You can't stop them. The only decision you get to make is what you're going to be when they arrive. So, what's it going to be?